Hey, what's up, everybody? Let's talk about selling our book. You've written it, it's done, it's laid out, somebody edited it, you printed it. How do you sell it? Let me give you 10 ways that I've seen in 20 years of publishing 30 books that actually work. 10 ways in less than 10 minutes. Can we do it? I think we can. Let's go. First one is not the easiest one to hear, but get used to no. There are people who won't like your book. There are people who won't buy your book. Will be people who won't promote your book. You will experience no throughout the process. From the moment that you start writing it, you're going to have family members telling you, I don't know who told you you could be a writer, other colleagues that wish they wrote a book but never have. Get used to no. Get used to no. If your emotions are too fragile that you can't take no, then probably shouldn't write a book because you're gonna get a lot of no's. It's gonna be you're gonna get a lot more no's than yes. It's gonna be a part of the process. Number one, get used to the no's. Number two, understand and get over your questioning judge that is in your mind that tells you who's gonna read your content. Why would you even tell people you wrote a book? Are you actually sure? Do you remember what you wrote? Have you actually read that stuff? Nobody's going to want to do that. That questioning judge, that imposter syndrome happens to everybody, even really good writers, even writers that have written a lot, even writers that are very popular. You got to get over your self-questioning. You got to do it anyway, even with a little voice in your head that tells you it's impossible. Number three, you have to understand that everything that adds value to people, people buy. So when you're writing a book, instead of telling yourself, I want to tell my story, I want to share what happened to me, I want to tell people about myself, I want to give people my experience, change that question to, how can I bless people with this? How can I change people's lives with this? How can I add value to people through the stuff that I'm writing? You see how that changes? That center on you and your book is how to help others, like how to help others in their marriage and their finances and their relationships and their spiritual growth. How can you bless people? Everything that adds value to people, people buy. So if your book adds value to people, people will buy it, even though you're not well known. You only have 343 followers on Twitter. People will buy your book. Number four, invite, but don't force people. Don't use emotional manipulation. Don't force people like, man, I can't believe people are not supporting Hispanics now in books. Don't use emotional manipulation and force to get people to buy your book. They're not. They're going to run the other way. But you need to invite people to buy your book. Inviting is not forcing. Inviting is not selfish. Inviting is not cumbersome. Inviting is necessary. Inviting is the key. You have to invite people to buy your book. How do people know that you actually wrote a book? Well, I invited people to buy my book like 3 times, and I think that I'm insisting too much. You're not. People are not sitting at home waiting to see how many times you tweeted something, you put something on the gram, you put something on Facebook. People are not doing that. People are just scrolling. Most people never saw it. And if they saw it, it was just a momentary 1 second lapse. You know how people scroll 3 or 4 hours a day. They think they're going to remember you. Invite. Don't be ashamed of your product. You put a lot of work into it. Invite. Number 5, give something else with your book. One of the things that I found very helpful is to give away the first chapter or a section of my book. I'm giving it away. Hey, if you share that I have a book, I'll give you the first chapter. If you subscribe to our email list, I'll give you my first chapter. If you tag me on social media, I'll give you my first chapter. Give something away with your book. That's number 5. Number 6, repeat the same pitch in different ways. One day you put a picture of the book. Another day you ask other people to take pictures of the book with you, with themselves. Another day you put a quote from the book. Another day you take a little video of yourself talking about what you wrote in the book. Another day you can interview somebody who read the book and was blessed by it. See, it's not just the same post, hey, buy my book every day, every day, every day. After a couple of days, people are just going to keep scrolling. So you have to repeat the same thing in a different way. I just gave you 6 ways of doing that. So there you go. Number 7, ask other people to comment about your book. When we reach out to other influencers, we're going to get some no's, but we're also going to get some yes. And it only needs one for you to go viral. It only needs one person to promote it. It only needs one person. So ask other people to comment about your book. Say, hey, I've written a book. If you reach out to me through social media, I'll retweet your book. I'll repost it. I'll share it on my Facebook. I will do that for you. Just tell me, hey, tag me on Facebook, and I will do it, right? Tag me on social media. Ask other people to comment about your book, to say not only, yes, I liked it, or no, I didn't like it. That's very simplistic question. Just tell people, hey, can you post something that you liked about the book? I'm going to send you the first chapter. Can you just read the first chapter and just write something about that chapter you found important? So it's not just you're amplifying your voice. Okay, you're amplifying your voice. That's number 7. Number 8, you're not going to like this, but it's the truth. Especially if it's your first book, a lot of work for a long time. A lot of work for a long time. Write that right now in the comment section so you don't forget it. A lot of work for a long time. A lot of cold calls, a lot of emails, a lot of text messages, a lot of follow-up text messages, a lot of follow-up emails, a lot of follow-up phone calls, a lot of reaching out on social media, a lot of tagging people, a lot of rejection along the way, but you'll get there. It's a hard work. I mean, it's hard work. If you're not ready for it, you're not going to sell your book. It's very rare that somebody's just going to pick up a random book from somebody they've never heard of and say, oh, this book is going to go viral. It's going to be very difficult for that to happen. So you have to do a lot of work for a long time. A lot of work for a long time. Number 9, use stories. Instead of, hey, here, fine, here's my book. Buy my book. This is my book. I wrote my book. The emphasis is me. Write stories. Say, I want to tell you a story that I share in my book. Write a story. Tell a story about somebody who read your book, who was blessed by it. Tell a story of a really hard time you had while writing the book. Tell a story about a specific chapter that was difficult to write. Tell a story about how you saw God's grace operating in a particular section of the book. Tell a story. Tell a story. Tell a story. Stories are facts with soul. Tell a story. And number 10, don't say no to yourself. Well, I'm not going to reach out to the social media influencer because he doesn't know me or she doesn't know me, and I don't think they're going to want to promote my book. You said no to yourself. You are already a no with them because you never asked them. They're not going to randomly pick up your book and share it, right? So right now, if you're not neutral, right now it's a no because you never reach out to them. So they're not posting content of you. But if you reach out, then you figure out, yeah, okay, now I know my no is for sure. But who knows? Some of them, you'll be surprised at the amount of people who will say, yeah, I'll retweet it, I'll forward it. Especially in our community, Adventist community, I've found a lot of people to be open and willing to do that in their social media pages. A lot more than I thought. Don't say no to yourself. Don't say no to yourself before writing it. Don't say no to yourself while you're writing it. Don't say no to yourself when you're pitching it. Don't say no to yourself. Reach out to as many people as possible, as many times as you can. and you see rewards. You got to get ready for no's, but don't you say no to yourself. Let other people say that. Don't you be the one agreeing with that accusing judge that you can't do it. And the bonus one is this: ask God's blessing over your book. Jabez's prayer is what I pray. Oh, that you will bless me indeed, and that you expand my territory, and you will keep me from evil, so no harm comes to me. I want to pray a prayer over my book, so it's a blessing to the people who read it. All right? What comments do you have? What questions do you have? How can I help you? Just leave me a comment in the comment section. That's why it's comment section, because it's for comments. All right? 10 minutes and 53 seconds is what it took. There you go. Thank you for subscribing to our channel. Thank you for sharing our content. And remember that if God is for us, those who are against us are wasting